Grogu, take your ball. Good day, everyone. This is Scott from Nigon's Electronic Creations, and today I'm going to be doing a very special build video, and I'm going to be going over turning this standard toy of the child, aka Baby Yoda, aka Grogu, into a fully customized one. So to start off with, this child toy, this is the Mattel 11-inch plush, they call it, but it comes with a vinyl head and vinyl hands. So it's a little bit squishy, but it's molded. And this gives him a really nice look. The head, I think, is molded really well. Nice hands. But there's two major problems when I bought this I knew I wanted to address. The first is that his arms are completely stuffed. They're not vinyl or anything in the arms, so they just flop to the side completely. They don't have any structure. And then the second issue is that if you pull him out, you'll see he has no feet. He's just a beanbag body. And not only does it look weird without him having feet, it's almost as if he was designed to have feet, because you can see this robe is very long and hangs like he should have little feet. So I believe they almost were considering feet at the beginning, and then because of cost just cut it out. So I really want to address those two issues, and maybe even a little more, as you'll see by the end. Because I'm going to transform, by the end of this video, I'm going to transform this standard the child toy into this fully customized the child, who has completely poseable arms, head articulation. He has full feet, as you can see. He stands completely on his own on his feet. It makes him the right height. You can see he's taller. And last but not least, fully customized electronics. So this build video is going to serve two purposes. One, it's going to show for anyone that wants to build a similar project how I attack these problems and how I solve the challenges that come about. But two, it's also going to just show how to install this, because the all the 3D files I'll put online. And then this soundboard's a custom one from Igniter 2, but you could use any similar soundboard and do your own setup. So that's right, Baby Yoda. Without further ado, Grogu, we will get to building you. First, I created this inner skeleton after getting detailed measurements of the body. I then printed it out overnight on my TAS 6. At this point, it was time for disassembly. Per the awesome video from Make It or Break It, I knew to cut off the zip tie holding the head with my snips. After doing this, I removed all the stuffing from the body, preparing to install the custom skeleton. With the skeleton printed, I drilled out the hole slightly to prepare it for the 3mm armature wire. After feeding the armature wire through, I cut it to length for the arms, leaving the legs for later. Now I can insert the skeleton and armature into the empty body for a test fit. Restuffing the body will ensure the skeleton and head work together and the skeleton is the correct height. There's a lot of stuffing that needs to go back in that body. With the head in place, it works great. Success! The arms now move as they should. At this point, I noticed that when I squeezed Grogu from front to back, he still felt very good and very stuffed, which I liked. However, because I designed the skeleton so wide, squeezing him from the sides, I could still, because I left it in this one, immediately feel the skeleton inside there. And since I wanted to retain the stuffed nature of this model, I redesigned the skeleton as seen here, cutting it in more into the skeleton so it's not as thick. This way more stuffing will be in there and it won't feel as much like a hard skeleton from the sides. Since I'm not good at 3D sculpting organic shapes, I wanted to find an existing leg model that I could use. I found a full 3D modeled Baby Yoda build, which had full legs I could modify. These legs can be seen here. The link to the full build is in the video description. By cutting the leg flat, adding the hole for the 3mm armature wire, and reducing the size to 85%, I came up with the green leg on the left from the original. This leg should allow my Hasbro 11-inch to stand so the existing cloak just hits the ground. So let's get to printing it out. Printing the feet upright prevents any major overhang, but since the bottom of the feet are not flat, support was still needed. I'll use the knife that came with my TAS 6 to remove that material from the bottom of the feet. With the material removed from both feet, let's get them in the house for final install. In the back room, I quickly drilled out the holes just to remove any print anomalies. I then checked each one's fitment on the 3mm armature installed in the leg cavity off screen. I recommend reversing the drill and backing it out instead of just directly pulling it out, as removing the drill quickly opened the hole just a bit more than I wanted on one leg. You could also just use a small round jeweler's file slowly to get the exact opening. Now, with the skeleton reinserted into the empty body, I hold the body facing down so that the beanbag pouch is on the belly. I roughly position the two leg armature wires so they're centered side to side, though a bit closer to the back than the front. I do this since I've seen his eating habits on the show, and I'm going for a bigger belly look. Once roughly marked, I punch through where I think the hole should go with a sharp hobby knife. The audio running Grogu is a custom Igniter 2 board. I modified the motion editor app from i2 to instantly turn on and respond to motion, so he'll play baby sounds when I move him and periodically at rest. The sounds are real baby sounds I grabbed from YouTube and elsewhere on the web. I used Reaper, an audio editing program, to change the pitch, speed, and reverse some of the sounds to create sounds which more resembled Grogu than an actual baby. I'll provide all my sounds linked below in the description to this video. After completing the firmware sound files, I needed to test where to install the speaker. My initial thought was to have it in the head, so the empty head would be like a giant echo chamber. I drilled the plastic piece that fits in the neck to fit the back end of the 36mm speaker for testing. I hooked it back up, but it sounded quiet and hollow. My second idea was to reverse the speaker, so the head was a big suction chamber and the speaker pointed down the neck. Success! I now just use the lathe to open the neck more to permanently fit the speaker the other way. A drill would work, but the lathe is cleaner for this large of a hole. Finally, I glued the speaker in place for the final install. After completing Season 2 and seeing the prominence of the shift knob, I knew I needed one for my Grogu. I decided to add a magnet into the hand in order to hold the ball to his hand. First, cutting off the smaller zip tie holding the hand allows removing the hand completely from the body. After this, the white plastic part needs to be pried out of the hand. It is glued on the inside quite well, so use a small flathead screwdriver to pry around the edges. It takes a bit of work, so keep at it until the glue frees up and pops loose. I then inserted two 9mm round by 2mm magnets. I started with two 6mm diameter ones, but found them to not be strong enough, so moved up to these 9mm instead. The last thing was to get the shift knob itself. I went on Thingiverse and found a great model to print, but it was solid inside. I quickly modified it in Fusion 360 for 9mm diameter magnets, and then I printed it out. Finally, after a bit of filing with my jeweler's files, I carefully assembled it to ensure the magnets were in the correct orientation. And once the skeleton has been completely soldered up, it's time for the final install. First, the skeleton goes back onto the body. Next, the body gets restuffed. Then, the body's redressed with the cloak. After, the head and hands are installed with new zip ties. Finally, the feet are slid back on. Done. I hope you enjoyed watching my custom Mattel 11-inch Grogu build. And I hope that for those of you that want to build this is a great tutorial to do it. And for those that are looking to do your own projects, this was some help of how to tackle and create these custom projects. So if you want to learn more about doing these projects or just want to see more of my awesome creations, definitely like and subscribe below, and you will get notified when I do more of these fun builds. All right, thanks again. I will talk to everyone later. Bye, Grogu.